Welcome back. My name is Amanda, and on this channel we talk about all things fiber, be it knitting, crocheting, rug tufting, cross stitch. If it includes fiber, I have probably tried it, or I will in the near future. Thank you so much for joining me this episode. We are going to be testing out the Caydo electric yarn winder today. Caydo was so kind as to send me one of their electric ball winders to give a try, and I'm testing it out for you. I'm pitting it up against my good old Stanwood ball winder, and we're gonna see what I think. So I have had my Stanwood for probably the majority of my knitting journey. I feel like I got it pretty soon after I fell in love with hand-dyed yarns, and it has held up so well. I love this thing. It is great, but my life has changed a lot lately, and I don't have a lot of time to sit down and cake up balls of yarn anymore by hand like I used to. And when Caydo offered to send me this, I was very excited, especially because, interestingly enough, this electric ball winder is cheaper than my Stanwood. So with that in mind, I definitely wanted to put it to the test and see if it stands up to the claims that I've heard. So my plan today is to, first off, cake up a ball of yarn with my Stanwood, then pull out the electric ball winder and give that a try, and kind of give the two of them a comparison. So obviously here we are unboxing the ball winder. I'm going to show you quickly how I put it together. It's very, very quick and easy, and then we'll get into using it. There really is only one quick screw that you have to put in here and it's ready to go, which I really appreciated. I guess that wasn't 100% truthful because you do twist on this cone as well, but that takes literally 2 seconds. So I guess 2 steps and you're ready to go. So first off, I did try the ball winder with my regular, what I would call an Amish Swift. So here I am threading the yarn through all of the different tension points on the ball winder. There are 2 different ways you can do this. You will see later in the video when I use the ball winder with a umbrella Swift that you do tension the yarn a little bit differently. The instruction booklet does give you information on that, so if you're slightly confused by what I'm doing here, definitely the instruction booklet is great, or they do have a QR code in there as well to watch video tutorials on how to set up everything with your ball winder. So I'm starting off using it here, and you can see already the issue that I had with the Amish Swift. It catches really, really badly. My initial thought here was maybe I just needed to have a bit of a height difference between the two. And you will see with my first try that the height difference did work. Now, with my following multiple tries, 4 or 5 times, it did not do the trick. It just kept catching, or it would pull the hank of yarn straight off of the Swift. So eventually I decided it was in my best interest just to purchase a not so expensive umbrella Swift and give that a try, and you will see shortly that that worked a lot better. So if you have an Amish Swift, I don't think this ball winder is going to work for you, but umbrella Swifts are relatively affordable, especially if you just grab one that's about $15 on Amazon like I did. So it's up to you what you want to do, but definitely an Amish Swift does not work with this electric ball winder. Here's a little bit of a closer look at using it in this way. You can see that the shelf I have it on is not stable in the slightest and is quite wobbly. That's not going to happen to you if you have this attached to a table, which I do later, and then I have no issues. But this stand did the trick for the time being so that I could try this out. Is what it is. Again, would not recommend with an Amish Swift. When you are finished winding your ball, the ball winder is going to keep running. So you definitely want to keep a little bit of an eye on it and make sure that you shut it off when it's done. Otherwise, it's going to go and go and go and go and go. And there is our beautiful cake. Here you'll see a comparison of a Stanwood wound cake on the left and a Caydo on the right. You can definitely see a difference in the tension between the two. Round 2, this time with an umbrella Swift, and let me tell you, this makes so much of a difference. I am tensioning here a different way. When you use the umbrella swift, you can skip that bottom little tension spring and just use the top one. And a very slow start because I was so nervous that something was going to happen here again and I was going to get a big knot and be super frustrated. But thankfully, the umbrella swift seemed to have solved all my issues. So I'll just leave you here for a minute or two so you can watch this thing in action when it's working properly. Yay! Look at that pretty cake! It's wound perfectly, it's not too tight, the tension is great, and it's ready for me to start knitting from. So there you have it. You missed a lot of my attempts in the middle there, where I learned that my Amish Swift unfortunately does not work with this ball winder. Now looking through the instruction booklet, I'm realizing now that it does say, I need to find this because I saw it earlier. It says not recommended for use with wooden umbrella swift. I think what they mean by that is not for use with a wooden, what I would call an Amish swift. Because to me, an umbrella swift is the green one that I have here that I ended up using. Because to me, an umbrella swift is this green one that I ended up purchasing and using. So it was a little bit of a bummer that I had to buy a new swift, but I bought a cheap one and I'll just kind of keep in the back of my mind to save some money up for when this one inevitably dies and go from there. It's really squeaky. I wouldn't recommend it. Thankfully, usually when I'm caking up yarn, I have headphones in or I'm watching a video and I don't hear the squeaking, but it is bad. Now, I could probably grease it and that would be fine. And this video isn't about the Swift, so it doesn't really matter. But it was a little bit of a bummer that I couldn't use it with my Amish Swift. The tensioning mechanism on here is not my favorite. I feel like these little wires here, I've already had them get stuck once or twice, and I feel like they might just break pretty easily because you have to tension it through here and then like there's that little hole there, but every time you pull that up and down, or anytime I had an issue with the yarn tangling or getting caught, it would yank on these and pull them funny, and if it pulls it up like that, like I just feel like over time that's going to wear and tear a lot faster than my Stanwood, which is all nice, I don't know what kind of metal, but pretty sturdy metal parts. Other than that, I appreciate that they have two different ways that you can tension. So I don't know if I talked about this in my clips of using it per se, but if you're just winding a cake off of a typical ball of yarn, like this one here, for example, you will tension through this bottom hole here, up through this, up to this hole, across, and onto the cone. If you're using an umbrella swift, you just go straight through here and then attach. So I do appreciate that there's two different options. I am, though, the type of person who's kind of bad at reading instructions, and I didn't know that when I first tried to use the umbrella swift, and I was getting frustrated. But that's a me problem, so whatever. Other than that, things I like about it, there's a lot. Obviously, I can wind a whole ball of yarn without having to do anything. I can sit down and knit, or I can leave it and come back. Obviously, the ball winder does not stop when it's done, so you're probably better off to just be in the room. I don't think it's going to hurt it if it runs for an extra 5 or 10 minutes with nothing on it, but just to keep up the longevity of the ball winder, I would probably stay in the room. I also like that it gives me looser cakes. I have a tendency on my Stanwood, my hand crank ball winder, to do it really, really fast because I want to get it done. But then I think my cakes are just a little bit too tight and it's probably stretching the yarn in a way that's not good for it in the long run. So I do like the fact that these are larger, looser, squishier cakes. I don't know why I don't particularly love the look of a cake when it's like this, but for the fact that I don't have to do it, I can get over that. Yeah, overall, for the price of this, let me look up what it costs right now. So you're looking at a $50 investment for this guy. There is a sale running right now. I know Caydo tends to have a lot of sales, but $50 for this, and my Stanwood, I think the last time I looked it up was about the time this came in the mail to me, which was about a month ago, was sitting around $90. So the fact that this is so much cheaper and it does all of the work for you, I think it's worth your money, especially if you don't already have a ball winder. I think this is a great place to start. Obviously, I don't know the longevity of this. I've had it for a month. I've used it quite a bit. Is it going to last as long as my Stanwood? I don't know, but I really do think it is worth the investment. If you're looking for something that saves you some time, saves your yarn from being too tightly caked, and is a not too expensive investment, that this ball winder is great for you. So if you are interested in checking out the Caydo website, I do have a link down below in the description. But yeah, let me know what you think about this electric ball winder. Do you think it's worth the money? Thank you so much for joining me for this little deep dive into the Caydo electric ball winder. Yarn winder? I think I've been calling it ball winder and it's technically yarn winder. Oh no, it says yarn ball winder. There we go. Thank you for joining me for this video. I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down and spend some time with me. If you liked this video, I think you would like these videos here on the screen, and I will see you again very, very soon. Bye!